everyone, my name's Mia. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you're freaking out because you're taking your NCLEX soon. That was me last week when I took my NCLEX, so I wanted to make this to help you guys and kind of give you my perspective on how I studied and what I did to prepare to take my NCLEX. I want to preface this by saying just because these study techniques worked for me does not mean they're going to work for you, but I did feel very prepared going in to take my NCLEX exam. I feel like these things that I did really worked for my learning style, but everyone learns differently and everybody studies differently. These are just some ideas of things that you can use to help prepare yourself. I was freaking out before my NCLEX. I literally was freaking out, and I did feel very prepared. Like, it got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm just ready to take this thing. Like, I feel I can't really learn anything else. Like, I know what I need to know, and my brain's not gonna like absorb anything else. Like, I'm at the point, let's just go and take it. And finally, it was the day of. I went to take it. I took the test in 75 questions, walked out, and cried. This was me when I walked out of my NCLEX exam.
I don't know what that just was.
So yes, you might feel discouraged. I did. And a lot of people that I know that have also taken their NCLEX walked out feeling the same way. But do not let that interfere with your test taking abilities. Like, I was very nervous while I was taking my exam, but I was like, you know what? Head in the game, like, let's go. You've gotten to the point where you're ready to take this exam. You've made it this far, you're gonna be a nurse. So let's get into what I did to pass the NCLEX exam in 75 questions. First of all, I'm really sorry for the lighting. My camera's like just broken or something. The exposure sucks, but this is my trusty binder. Everything I used and did is in this binder. So I really suggest just keeping all of your stuff in one spot. When I would study at home, binder came to my desk with me. When I would study at a coffee shop, binder went in my bag. Everything is in this binder. The first thing I did, which shout out Jenna, my friend Jenna, if she's watching, she gave me all of the resources that she used to study for her NCLEX because she already took it. She's been a nurse for a couple months now. And she was like, this is what worked for me. Like, you should like look at this stuff, and if you want it, like, use the study materials that I had. So she gave me the idea of creating a calendar. In total, I probably studied for about like 4.5 weeks prior to my exam, and I had written out what exactly I was gonna do on every single day leading up to the exam. I graduated in December. I gave myself about like 2.5 weeks off just to kind of like regain my like mental health and like take a breather for a second, and then I started studying the first week in January, and then I took my exam the first week in February. So what I did, and I haven't seen anyone else do this when I was looking up ways to study, but this really worked for me. I basically studied by body system. I have to find this TikToker, this nurse who makes TikToks. She really helped me because she has a public Google Doc with each body system listed out and like the important things to know within each body system. So like, for example, she had like the cardiac section, and she had hypertension, myocardial infarction, cardiomegaly, heart failure, things like that. So like, she had every single thing that you needed, that you should know, listed for each body system. So I kind of went based off of that. If I can find that, I'm gonna put it in the description box of this video so you guys can go, because she has a lot of good resources. So that's what I did first, is I separated what I needed to know in each body system. Then I created my calendar. I marked what I was gonna do every single day. So for example, my first 3 days I did just fundamentals. So I did like leadership, management, ethics, PPE, IV fluids, safety, skills, infection, precautions, just all things like that. Then after that, I went into 3 days of cardiac. Then I did 2 days of respiratory, blah, 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 blah. You get the gist. So each day, I'm sure you've heard of Mark Klimek. He actually saved me. I literally got a question on my exam that I could hear him verbatim speaking about in my head. So if you have access to Mark Klimek, I know they're on YouTube. I think it's Nurse June. Posted the Mark Klimek lectures. Listen to Mark Klimek. He actually saved me for my NCLEX. He has 12 lectures in total. They are long. A lot of people I know listen to all of the lectures before they even like do any practice questions, before they look at any other content. For me, I kind of did it a little bit differently. So I would listen to, he has obviously different topics in each lecture, right? So let's say like he had one lecture that was half psych, half peds. When I got to my day in my calendar that I was going to learn about peds, I would listen to the portion of that lecture that talked about peds, and then I would stop and I would continue learning about peds. Then a couple days later, when I got to my psych content, I would listen to that portion of the lecture where he talked about psych. So I just listened to Mark Klimek like throughout my studying, throughout the course of the 4.5 weeks. But I know a lot of people like to just listen to all 12 lectures in the beginning, which is totally fine. Obviously, everyone learns differently. But every morning, I would wake up, I'd do my little routine, I would go work out, I'd eat my breakfast, make a coffee, take a shower, I'd get my head in the game, and I'd go sit down either on my desk, in my room, on my bed, literally right here, which I don't recommend doing studying in your bed, or I would go to a coffee shop, like a local coffee shop, where I could put my headphones on and just like zone in. I would listen to Mark Klimek, that portion of the lecture that was related to the topic that I was learning about that day. Then simple nursing, simple nursing, simple nursing, simple nursing. Oh my god, he's another one. He literally saved my life. Nurse Mike. Simple nursing has a video for literally almost every single health related topic you could imagine. So for example, I got to neuro. I listened to my Mark Klimek lecture about where he talks about neuro. Then I went right onto YouTube. I looked at simple nursing videos for myasthenia gravis, Guillain-Barré syndrome, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, MS. I watched all the simple nursing videos and took notes. He talked about meds. He talked about nursing interventions, all that kind of stuff. Then if he like didn't touch on a topic or I wanted some further clarification, Nurse Sarah, registered nurse RN, here I come. Those two were literally the best. And then also, oh my god, what's the other one called? Nurse Kathy, Level Up RN. Simple nursing, registered nurse RN, and Level Up RN. I would listen to videos and watch videos about the body system and the topics that I was learning about that day. And I would take notes during that. So, whoa, sorry. This is like really... I separated by body system and by section, basically. So first I had like my fundamentals section. Here's my notes on like precautions and IV fluids, and then I got into med-surg, oh my god, I'm a mess, med-surg and critical care. All my notes on med-surg and critical care in here. So for example, here's my cardiac notes. So like, I would watch my videos and take notes on all of those topics, right? Then I got to pharm. I had a whole pharmacy section. I had cardiac meds, respiratory meds. Then I went to peds. I had a whole pediatric section because that's a lot in itself, and then I had a whole maternity section because that's also a lot in itself. I don't even know what I'm doing. And then I had a psych section. That's what I would do. I'd listen to Mark Klimek, I'd watch my YouTube videos, take notes. Then I would give myself a break because you obviously know how nursing school is the same way. You can't just constantly go because you're gonna burn yourself out. So I'd give myself a break, I'd eat lunch, I'd like do something fun at nighttime or after my break. That's when I would go do all of my practice questions. So I personally used UWorld and Archer. I don't know if I liked one better than the other. I think they both worked relatively well for me. I used the majority of the UWorld question bank. Like I had like maybe 60 questions left at the end that I didn't use. And I didn't use as much of Archer because I mainly used Archer for the readiness assessments. Archer's rationales like weren't as good as UWorld's were. Like I think that's really the important part. Not even the question, it's the rationales. So like whether I got a question right or wrong, I would always read through the rationale and I would take notes on that rationale if I like was still fuzzy about it or if I got the question wrong. I aimed to do about like 75 to 100 questions on UWorld and Archer combined per day. Towards the end, like the last week or so, I was averaging maybe like 50 questions. Then I would do readiness assessments, which is really good that I like Archer has readiness assessments because it like predicts your like ability to pass basically. So you can get like borderline, very likely to pass, not ready to pass. I was getting in the beginning 40 to 50% on my UWorld quizzes and topics, like wasn't doing well at all. And then as I was like learning more and doing more practice questions and getting used to like the way that questions are worded and what I should know, I was averaging like 60 to 70, which is where you ideally people say you want to be in that range, and that means you're ready to take your NCLEX. On my Archer readiness exams, I would only take those when I felt confident and like I felt like I knew what I was doing. I was getting very likely to pass, highly likely to pass. One time I got one that said borderline and I literally wanted to cry. So only do it when you feel ready because it'll boost your confidence for sure. And then I also liked UWorld had a readiness exam as well, or like a practice test, which really mimics the NCLEX. It times you. You take the, however many, I think it was like 100 questions. You take that and then it tells you if you're like ready to pass the NCLEX or not based on your percentage. And I also got very likely to pass on that as well. So I think those are really good to do towards the end, like when you're approaching your test date, because it really boosts your confidence and like then you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this, I can go take my exam. So that's what I did. I used Archer and UWorld. Practice questions I think are the best way to learn and kind of like get used to the question style and kind of like feel for what you should know. It also is a great indicator of like areas that you need to brush up on if you're like doing poorly in one area. Like for example, I was like very low in maternity. I don't know why, I just couldn't get a grip on it, so I would do more maternity practice questions. Overall, that's really all the advice I have. Like I said, everyone studies differently. This really worked for me. Separated by body systems, listened to more clinic, watched YouTube videos, took notes, and did practice questions. This time of your life is going to be very nerve-wracking. This was literally the worst portion of my life that I've ever lived in. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my anxiety was like literally through the roof. Got blood taken today, if you see my little band-aid. I was freaking out every single day of my life. I couldn't sleep. I was waking up like so anxious. But when you take your exam, you're gonna feel so relieved that it's over. You are gonna pass. You're gonna do this. I believe in you. Manifestation is key. Lucky girl syndrome is key. Just believe in yourself. You got this. You made it through nursing school. You can make it through your NCLEX. If you liked this video or if you want to stick around, I post like lifestyle, fashion, beauty content, and I'm going to be incorporating my nursing career as I move forward. And subscribe if you're interested. I wish you all the best of luck. I know you're going to do great. Come back here and let me know how you did once you take your NCLEX. Good luck. Bye.